And we conclude phase 1 with the Avengers. What's up, guys? It's me, the AOLE Double X Prince, here to give you my review of 2012's The Avengers. After like years, since 2008 all the way to 2012, we get The Avengers. It's insane. Something that could be nearly impossible. As Nick Fury says, there was an idea to bring a group of remarkable people and fight the fights we couldn't fight. That is just insane, just how it all culminated. And this movie is pretty incredible. A lot of people like to down it just because we had better movies down the road. I'm sorry, but to me, this one by far it's impossible to top. Infinity War could top it. It could, but it's almost impossible because this movie was just so incredible and so fun. And it did lead up a trend of like certain movies trying to copy Marvel, so there's like that bad things. But overall, I just can't imagine not saying that this is a perfect movie, because it really was. Like we start off right away with Loki talking to a mysterious dude that later we found out is Thanos, and then eventually Shield is working on the Tesseract that they found from the Avengers when it was buried. I mean, not the Avengers, Captain America. And that's when we get reintroduced to Loki. He wasn't dead, he's back. Freaking what's it called? Loki has a scepter, and he starts on controlling people, and he gets Hawkeye on his side, and also he gets the Doctor. Hold on, let me get his name. Yeah, he gets Professor Selvig. So there's that, and basically, since they ran away with the reactor, it's time to get some help, and that is why we got basically Nick Fury's like, it's time to call them. Oh no, he talks to Phil Coulson. He's like, it's time to call the assemble, and sure enough, they have the title, the Avengers, and we all marked the hell out. I remember I saw this in a packed ass theater. People were cheering the hell when they saw the Avengers title. And we start with like, we save the good Avengers for later. Like, we start off with Black Widow, who we haven't seen since Iron Man 2. Basically, she's on a mission. Then Phil Coulson calls her during the mission. It was like pretty funny, just her kicking the shit out of these guys, and she gets the phone like, "Hey, what's up? It's time to get the Avengers. The Tesseract has been stolen. It's time to get it." And basically, she's in charge of the Hulk, who is not played by Edward Norton. It's actually played by Mark Ruffalo, a new Hulk, and by far the best Hulk. Mark Ruffalo. It makes sense because Mark Ruffalo looks like an innocent dude that likes that, who is intelligent, but he like really does hate being the Hulk, and he's trying everything to do to get rid of the Hulk. But he eventually teams up to help out, but he doesn't want to fight. He does not want to fight. He's just worthy of helping out with like certain things. As far as like, just building shields to stop Loki from entering like their area and that. And then we get Phil Coulson talking to Tony Stark and Pepper Potts in New York when he makes a new Stark building, which does come into play later in the movie. The Stark building. Basically, Phil. It's funny because I remember Pepper's like, "Oh, Phil," and Tony Stark's like, his first name is Agent. Like, that was just funny. And basically, Tony has some homework now. He is stuck checking out all these information. He sees like previous Avengers. They actually show clips from the movies, which is weird. Like, it doesn't look like That's always nitpicky. This is kind of nitpicky, but I just like it looked like instead of like let me get my words right. Um, so and let me just fast forward to Civil War when they showed the fight then in New York. They showed like camera shots like from like if someone recorded from a phone or something. This one they literally just got clips from each movie, which is like completely random. But yeah, Iron Man sees the Tesseract. You can tell he's like he really wants it for his own. So in reality, that's the real reason why Iron Man even teamed up with them later down in the movie. But um, we also get introduced also to Captain America, who's just been completely heartbroken after just being asleep for as long as he wants. I talked about the end credit scene from um, Captain America, Captain America: The First Avenger. It's basically this, just without the whole trailer thing. But um, basically, Captain America learns about the Tesseract, that it's back, and he's like, you should have left it in the ocean. And eventually, Loki is trying to get some weapons with the team that he built with Hawkeye and stuff. The people he's controlling with the with the scepter. Which we later in future movies we find out that the scepter actually has one of the Infinity Stones as well. Um, but more on that when we get to that. But yeah, we get an old dude talking about how Loki ain't a god and stuff, and then that's when we get Captain America fighting Loki. We have like a brief little fight with the two. I'll say this: Captain America's suit does look corny in this movie, but it makes sense. It's the last suit he wore, so they kind of upgraded down in the later movies. But yeah, this one looked kind of corny. It was too colorful. You could tell it was just like too much. But in the bright side, it does look like the comic. It does look just like the comic. And also, side note, I didn't even bring this up, but Disney haven't exactly bought Marvel just yet. But yeah, so Paramount still own the guy, so you could tell the way the movie is shot, it looks different from future movies. So that's a thing that I just realized. Yeah, the I always thought that was like a big issue. The green screen does look a little bit off, but it works. It didn't really bother me because eventually down later movies they got better as they went on. So that was great. And yeah, basically Iron Man and Captain America stop Loki. They take the scepter. They take everything from Loki, and then that's when we get the final Avenger, Thor. Taking Loki, he wants to bring him back to Asgard, but Iron Man and Captain, they're like, no, no. He gives up the Tesseract, and he's all yours. That was great. But that fight with Thor and Iron Man was just funny and entertaining. It was cool, especially when Iron Man's making fun of Thor, and it just worked for like the humor. Because this movie is pretty humorous, and it does become a trend in the future movies as well. And this was a pretty insane thing when Captain America's fighting Thor, and basically his shield is as powerful as Thor. Like I remember, he's like, "You want me to put the hammer down?" And he does put the hammer down, but it shoots, it like blows up everything. And it was insane. Like wow. Captain America's shield actually that damn powerful. But eventually they all take Loki. And this was like a little side note, like what is it with how come Loki didn't just escape? But it made sense because Loki is like a mind control. He controls people's mind. Like not necessarily like with his power, but he just fucks with people. You know what I'm saying? He just like really really messes with people, so it makes sense. So he takes off. They trap Loki, but they actually turns out that trap is actually set up for the Hulk in case the Hulk goes crazy. That's basically his bed. And when they do reveal that, we have all the Avengers arguing about this. And it was just brilliant, like, because in reality, the Shield wanted the Avengers. Um, yeah, the Shield wanted the Avengers to basically um just form up a team, like I said. But what Nick Fury and the agents wanted, they wanted to make weapons to stop these things, but in reality, that sounds pretty evil. So it was great to see like people arguing about this, and then they argue with Thor like, how come? How do you blame this on me? We're gods. We helped it. We helped everybody, and then they're like, yeah, you know what, Banner, you should go to bed. And he's like, no, I can't because Loki is sleeping there right now. So, and basically this interaction with everybody is just insane. It's just great interactions with everybody, which eventually leads to Hawkeye finding their location and basically blasting up, basically causing chaos. And now they disabled the shields, and now they're back to get Loki and the Tesseract just to finish up his big plan of the Frost Giants coming into. Not necessarily, I don't think it was the Frost Giant, but it's like I'll just call him Thanos' army. That's like how little I pay attention because I really focus on the interaction with the Avengers. But yeah, basically that happens. He um that I didn't even bring this up, but the interaction with Steve Rogers and Tony Stark is just great. Like, yeah, you talk a lot, but you know what, you really don't care about anybody. He's like, yeah, you're right, I don't. Yeah, but take off the Iron Man suit and what are you, playboy billionaire philanthropist? And I remember Scarlett Johansson or Black Widow, she was like, huh. And it was just funny. And then they're like, put on the suit, we'll fight. He's like, you're not the boss of me. And then when Hawkeye arrives and basically Loki's army attacks, they go, put on the suit, okay. And yeah, basically this is the few times that we see Tony Stark and Steve Rogers working together. It was just like a brief moment of things to come. Thor fights Loki, but he accidentally gets trapped on and Hulk's trap, and then he falls under. And I didn't even bring up that the Hulk arrives at this point. Yes, so we have the Hulk come out. She's chasing down Scarlet Witch, which scares the shit out of her. Thor and Hulk have a brief fight, which is awesome. Eventually, it gets better in future movies, but Hulk grabs I remember he grabs Thor's hammer, but because he's not worth it, he can't pick it up, and it was just pretty funny. This big dude can't pick up this hammer, only Thor can, so it was just great. But yeah, Thor is gone for a while. So is Hulk after they like basically throw him off the ship. He's gone. He goes flying, fucking insane. Eventually, Thor, we thought, well, we didn't think he was gonna die because we all knew that Iron Man 3 and Thor 2 were next after this. But yeah, Thor escapes Hulk's pod, and he's gone for a while. And then yeah, Iron Man and Captain America working together was one of the best highlights of this entire scene. Them working together to fix the plane and make sure they're like not falling down. And this leads to another scene, the most tragic one until Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Phil Coulson dies in this movie. Loki kills him, which is sad because he's the one who brought everybody together. But it makes no fucking sense because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fucking brings them back for no fucking reason. And it really just takes this moment away. It just really does hurt this moment a little bit. But the good thing is that Phil hasn't come back. And really, it just shows you that like sometimes, if you kill off a character, you just can't bring him back and expect people to be cool with it. So that was just like a big issue. And then I remember Phil was a big fan of Captain America, and he wanted Captain to sign his cards, but he never did. And you see his cards all bloodied up, and that's when also Hawkeye and Scarlet Joe and Black Widow fight for a while. Black Widow knocks out Hawkeye, bringing back like his memory, and he's like not controlled anymore. And then that's when Iron Man, Captain America, Black Widow and Hawkeye, they realize, you know what, we gotta let our differences aside. Let's time to team up. Fury was right. Let's do it. They take off to New York to stop Loki's plan. And one of the biggest cool moments was Nick Fury looking at Phil Coulson's Captain America cards and Robin from How I Met Your Mother. That's what I call her. She goes, Nick, those cards weren't on. Those cards were on Phil's locker when he died, and Nick Fury goes, "Yeah, I needed to motivate them," and it was great. That was just great dialogue, because like that's how you bring up a team together, by letting their guard down and just like basically having everybody find a way to work together as a team, and it was brilliant. Then we had the Tony going to the Stark building, and he interacts with Loki. Loki's like, "Yeah, I have an army," and Iron Man's like, "We have a Hulk," and it was just funny. And then Loki was gonna turn Iron Man against the Avengers with the scepter, but he couldn't because Iron Man's little circle thing didn't let him, so that was great. Then that's when we have Iron Man and everybody just teaming up to fight Loki. Thor comes back, and then that's when it was too late and Loki's army makes it. Loki's army arrives to basically fight New York and take over the world. And that's when basically all the Avengers at this point, all of the ones that are important, come back. And Hulk was gone for a while, but he falls from the sky naked, and the janitor is like, "Yeah, I didn't know what size he wears until your real pants came, but here's your clothes." He gets some clothes, and then he basically comes to New York and team up with the Avengers. And this is when we get the coolest line from the Hulk, basically, "Dr. Banner, it's time to get angry." "Oh, that's the secret, Captain. I'm always angry." He turns into the Hulk and breaks this big ass monster, like flying monster. I forgot what the name of those things, but yeah. And then that's when they all team up. We have cool interactions with everybody fighting. It was just great. I really like that Captain was like the main leader of this. Basically, he was like, Iron Man, Hawkeye, up. You guys fight up. Thor, take care of the big ones. Black Widow and I will be down here fighting. And Hulk, smash. That was a great line. Hulk was just a badass throughout this whole thing. Honestly, the highlight of this entire fight was Hulk fighting with everybody. And one of my favorite parts was Hulk and Thor teaming up. And then after they beat up the people they were fighting, Hulk just knocks out Thor like this. It was just funny. Eventually, Scarlett Johansson, or Black Widow. I keep saying that, but I just know her as Scarlett Johansson more than Black Widow. But anyways, Black Widow heads over to talk to Selvig, Dr. Selvig, to probably stop the people from coming back, because this fight was gonna continue no matter what. Meanwhile, there's some corporations going on with Nick Fury and the other agents and stuff. They send 2 missiles to fight to shoot down New York, and they could have killed everybody, but they weren't thinking right. But they were lucky to stop one, but one of them escapes, and it was up to Iron Man to go stop that one. Also, there's a part where Hulk and Loki interact. It's probably the most popular scene, where Loki's like, "Are you insane, madman? I am a god. Why are you?" And then Hulk grabs him and just beats the shit out of him. People are laughing at that shit. Hulk was like puny god, and that's who the Hulk is. He's supposed to be a genius, but when he's the Hulk, he's just this guy who beats up things and is silly sometimes. That's the Hulk. That was the Hulk, and it was just great. Eventually, they figure out how to stop all these creatures to come back. So what they did eventually, Iron Man runs with the missile. He goes into space, and then they close down the portal. But Iron Man's suit just like falls down. Um, yeah, that was just like a great moment, great way to stop the fight. We all thought, well, it looked like it was gonna be the end for Iron Man. Then the Hulk catches him and saves him. Then we have Iron Man on the floor. Then we have Hulk, Captain, and Thor scene there. Also, another cool scene that I liked is that when basically Jarvis is like, should I call Mrs. Potts? And here, yes, do it. And basically Pepper is just watching the news of how devastated she is, but she won't answer the phone. It was super devastating, really good. The only problem is that we already knew Iron Man 3 was coming after this, but that's besides the point. We see Iron Man knocked out on the floor. We see the four main Avengers, what I call them. Then I thought they were gonna pull off that scene from Thor where he revives Iron Man. He grabs on his shield and does this with his hammer. I thought they were gonna do that, but instead Hulk just screams and Iron Man's like, oh, okay. And then he talks about all the stuff that he's never done. He's never eaten shawarma, which plays in an end credit scene at the end. With all 6 of them eating shawarma. It was great. They stopped Loki. He's like, I'll have that drink now, and they're all mad at him. Then we get what's it called? After this we get what's next after this? Yeah, basically Thor and Loki head back to Asgard after eating shawarma. And they all kind of go their separate ways, but then Nick Fury is like, yeah, we'll call him when we need him again. And I like how the movie ends with Tony and Pepper in the Stark building, but after all the damage, the S, the T, the R, and the K they fell off and they were broken. And all you see is the A marking the Avengers, which is great. So basically, if this movie delivered, we were going to get more things to come out of this. And thankfully it did, and it became, at the time, one of the highest grossing superhero movies of all time. At this point it was, till Black Panther, which surprised me. But yeah, it was a great movie, great culmination. And they show an end credit scene teasing Thanos. So that was another thing of future things to come. And overall, this movie was just great. Yeah, it was just a fantastic movie. Well done, well put together. People talk about how it missed some moments, but I don't see anything wrong with this. This is a perfect movie. This is a 10 out of 10, A+, one of the greatest movies of all time. Just for the fact of how everything was set up and how everything was just put together, and it was just brilliant, and I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. It's just insane, this and how things to come later. So that's it for this review. It's a pretty long one. Next up is Iron Man 3, so I got a lot to say about that one. And it's me, the ALE XX Prince. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and until then, I'm out.